Hey YouTube, this is another day in the spotlight videos of Godzilla and other crap, but mostly Godzilla. Today's video is Godzilla Y2J. Oh wait, wrong. That's my shirt. Chris Jericho. This is Godzilla Y2K. Godzilla 2000. And the green machine was back, even though he's not green, he's charcoal gray, but not many people understand why people say he's green. Except in one movie he was actually green, and in the US he was painted green. But who gives a damn? He is the freaking charcoal monster that burns everything to charcoal and pretty much just destroys everything in his sight. And technically this movie did suck as well. Yet it was the first Godzilla movie I actually saw in theaters. Well, actually, an actual Toho Godzilla movie I saw in theaters. So it's one of my favorites. And it's the first episode. It's the first one in the Millenium Saga. I almost said episode. I did say episode. Who gives a shit? This is pretty much going to be a funny one because technically it's a Y2J joke, the whole thing, because technically it was back to ignite you, to excite you, and pretty much break the walls down on what was known as Godzilla 1998 with Matthew Broderick and that mutant reject from the freaking Jurassic Park trilogy. But at the time, there was only 2 Jurassic Parks. But then, technically, Godzilla counts as the 3rd before Jurassic Park 3 ever came out. Because it was just technically a giant dinosaur destroying New York. Actually, a mutated raptor iguanodon thing, which was a piece of shit. So Toho wanted to get back at freaking America for making a piece of shit. Which we usually do make, is a pile of shit. So we came back, made this movie. And it's nice and engraved, the box. You can just rub your fingers across it, and it's like right there. The DVD is the same. No special features, really. And guess what? On the DVD, there were trailers to the 98 movie, because it was released through TriStar. The movie's technically about this guy who has this little thing that tries to research Godzilla, even though he's not a really good scientist with, materials. But he researches Godzilla with his daughter, while a old colleague of his is trying to destroy Godzilla. At the same time, the colleague finds alien wreckages under the sea and pulls it up out of the water. But technically it revolves on solar heat energy, and by bringing it out of the depths of the sea, it reawoken the entity inside the spaceship. The spaceship wants to take over the Earth, and so it tries to clone itself a Godzilla. The Godzilla clone, known as Orga, is this giant blobish monster thing that looks like technically a Biolante version of Godzilla slightly, because it's just this bulbous weird monster thing. And in the climax, it's like, okay, Godzilla, I'm gonna absorb you like Cell does the androids, and Godzilla's like, bring it on, bitch, goes inside of him and explodes him from the inside out. Pretty much that's just how the movie goes about, okay, we're gonna destroy Godzilla. An alien wants to take over the Earth, and Godzilla has to fight the monster. Technically, it was a bad movie, but as a little kid, technically not a little kid, I was like 8 to 10 years old when it finally came out in theaters, but for me, it was one of my favorite movies, because I actually was the first movie I ever saw Godzilla in theaters. Not first movie in theaters, but it was my first Godzilla movie in theaters. So, I really enjoyed that. The special effects were pretty much like green screen effects where it would show Godzilla walking through a city, the actual city itself, and it was one of the first few Godzilla movies to show him walking into the city like that, and then adding in the special, the cardboard cutouts, the explosive buildings that Godzilla would fall through, and such. Godzilla's suit itself was one of my favorite suits by far, but it was also the most abstract because of the ways the spines were made. So, in all, for me, it's one of my favorites. One of my favorites out of the top movies. And also, there was also one thing, when you went to see it in theaters, it actually had the end at the end, but then a question mark, because Godzilla started burning up the city. But when they released it on VHS, they took out that whole scene, which was making Americans think that there was actually going to be a direct sequel to the 2000 movie, which there technically wasn't, because the whole Millennium Saga was like, we're just going to do different timelines, different alternate timelines that base off the original movie, and that's how it went. So I myself don't know what the actual Japanese version is, except that it's pretty close to the American dub, and that's all I can tell you about. The movie, technically I haven't seen this movie lying about that much except for its DVD counterpart. which has no special features and just crappy trailers. And FYE. I mean, I'd like a Toho Master Collection version of it, maybe. So maybe there would be, like, some special features, maybe, like, why they made this movie because the other one sucked so badly that the Americans made. Or maybe just because they made it because it was awesome. Who knows? We'll never know, maybe. Unless we get another American Godzilla movie, which was supposedly made through Legendary Pictures, but people think it's going to be through WB now, and it seems like this one's not coming to existence either. This is kind of going to be like the original 98 movie that was going to be supposedly made in 93, but never happened. But anyways, this was Spotlight on Godzilla Y2J.